Welcome back. Some more woke, bullshitted Democrat crap crying over racism because a white Democrat leader running in Democrat Congress seats. So woke black Democrats are having a racist meltdown because a white Democrat leader is running the black Congress seat. So let's go ahead and get into the video, shall we?
Whose seats were wiped out are now trying to figure out where to run. Jared Moskowitz seems likely to run in the newly drawn Congressional District 25, which includes Miami Beach and Aventura, and runs up the coast through Fort Lauderdale all the way to Boca Raton and Delray Beach. His announcement is expected by the end of next week. The real mystery is what Debbie Wasserman Schultz will do. The longest-serving congressional Democrat in Florida, she has been in the House for more than 2 decades. She could run in the new District 22, but it is a district Trump won by 10 points. The more likely option is that she'll run in Congressional District 20, which is solidly Democratic, but it is also an area that has been represented by African Americans for the last 32 years. The district is 40% black, and there are currently at least 4 African Americans running in that seat, which means Wasserman Schultz will be counting on her opponents in the primary, splitting up the African American vote and allowing her to become the nominee. The Broward County Democratic Black Caucus has asked Wasserman Schultz not to run for that seat, and it is clear that if she did run, it would turn into an ugly and potentially racial affair.
Boy, we gotta talk about a juicy story out of Florida, a story that I absolutely love, because Florida has been redistricted, and now that is causing some problems for Democrats. They have to decide what district are they going to run in. Okay, now that the maps have been redrawn, Democrats have to decide basically who's going to lose their seat and who's going to keep their seat. That's basically what it comes down to at this point. Okay, because Democrats are going to be forced to run in red districts. Okay, that they're going to have a hard time winning, even if they've been in office for a long time. It's going to be difficult. So naturally, considering these dynamics, infighting is going to break out, okay? Because there are some Democrats who believe that certain Democrats should run in certain districts and certain Democrats should run in other districts, right? And apparently, you have the Black Caucus, which believes that Democrats should run in districts based off race, right? This is what they believe, and that leads me to this story, a hilarious story, featuring Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Okay, I'm pretty sure most of you guys have heard of her. She's a major figure within the Democrat Party, within the House. She's been in Congress for years. She's from South Florida, and she is getting some backlash from the pro-blackity blacks, the Black Caucus, over her decision to run in a black district. Okay, the same district that Shayla Shafillis McCormick, the ratchet black Democrat that is currently facing charges for fraud, right? We're talking about stealing millions of taxpayer dollars during COVID. She's running again, right? She's actually running for re-election after she quit Congress. So she was forced out of Congress, she quit, and she's running again. And Debbie Wasserman Schultz is basically going to run in that same district. And the pro-blacks are not upset with Shafillis McCormick, who, again, is a criminal, basically. She quit Congress. They're not upset with her for deciding to run again. They're upset with Debbie Wasserman Schultz because she's not black and she's running in a black district. Yet you can't make this stuff up. So I want to react to it because it's a hilarious story, and I think it's a great example of how the multiracial coalition of the Democrat Party, right, the cultural Marxist agenda of the Democrat Party, how it always comes to bite them in the butt, right? When you're in bed with these radicalized, race-obsessed lunatics, this is the type of stuff that you got to deal with, right? So, without further ado, let's get into this, okay? This video that I'm going to play first is the initial reaction to the possibility of Debbie Wasserman Schultz getting into this race.
This week, I spoke to State Senator Rosalynn Osgood, who does not believe Wasserman Schultz should run in a seat long held by African Americans.
So, Jim, as you know, the Democratic Party has been held together through the strong coalition of Jews and Black people. We've always worked collaboratively with Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz. Certainly, I represent a district that's multiracial. I try to serve all of my constituents. But when you're black in America, you have a different lived experience. It is critically important to have someone with your lived experience representing you in Congress to be a part of those conversations, those debates. We're just saying, don't minimize our opportunity. This is exactly what Ron DeSantis' intentions was. If you look at congressional 20 district areas like Plantation, Sunrise, it's kind of a map where the black people live. So you pack many of us into one district, you crack out certain parts of the community, like you put Belle Glade in another district, people in Palm Beach, so the black people's vote and representation is not equal, it's diluted. So if you have a race with 6 black people in, and Debbie gets in that race, you know, maybe the thought is that the black people will dilute the vote and it gives her an automatic shoe-in. I don't know if it's the easiest path forward with her. I did talk to her. She explained to me how important seniority is in Congress, and we want to keep her in Congress. But we're just asking her to consider running in the district that she was drawn into, or even in the coastal district where Moskowitz says he's going to run, where it's predominantly Jew. So when you look at what's going on in Broward, particularly Palm Beach and Broward, how the district's being tapped, it kind of gives incumbents like Louis Frankel, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, you know, Moskowitz. It's like they're vying to protect their seats. And what we're saying is we've been an ally. We've been a supporter. You know, we want to have someone with our lived experience. Let our community kind of decide through the voting process who that person is going to be.
Well, ain't that's the point of voting, right? The point of voting is for the voters to decide, right? Like, ultimately, at the end of the day, voters have to vote. They have to make the decision. Basically, what she's advocating for is that Democrats must run based off race, right? She's basically saying, hey, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, since you're a Jew, you need to go run in the Jew district, right? Go run in the Jew district because you can only represent Jews. You can't represent us blacks, right? Us blacks, we're entitled to black representation, whatever that means, right? Whatever that means. That's what she's saying. It is so crazy to me because, again, these are the same people who claim that they're trying to move past Jim Crow, right? That they are fighting against racism, hate, and bigotry. But they're quite literally fighting for segregation. That's what they're doing. They're fighting for segregation. When you listen to these people talk, they don't sound that much different than the Klan, right? It's almost as if the Democrat Party didn't change. It's almost as if the whole party switching thing is BS, right? Seriously, these are the same people who love slavery. This time they just like the illegal immigrants, right, being the slaves, okay? They're pro-segregation. They want black districts and what's best for them, right? There is no underlining principle when it comes to the whole black district thing. They're totally fine with advocating for racism, hate, and bigotry, for segregation when it benefits them. So in this case right here, you have a quote-unquote black district, right, a black seat. And this woman is saying, no, this white Jewish woman, she can't run in this seat, right? Like, she cannot represent black people. That's what this woman's saying. And she's also advocating and saying that, hey, black people shouldn't even have the opportunity to decide whether or not they want a white Jewish woman to represent them. That's what she's saying. She's also low-key saying that black people are too dumb to make the decision. Because let's be real, she's afraid that black people are not going to choose a black candidate, right? That's what she's afraid of. So she's like, no, she can't run in this race because black people might actually choose somebody that's not black to represent them, which really highlights the real issue, right? When you talk about black Democrats running for Congress, what is the real issue? It's not that black people won't vote for whites or white Democrats. I mean, we've seen black people vote for white Democrats, right? It's that white Democrats won't vote for black Democrats, right? Again, it's almost as if the parties haven't switched. They just have different marketing, right? The marketing is different, right? They've changed the marketing. But the real issue that these people are complaining about is that Democrats have to have these so-called black districts in order to get black representation, because black people will vote for white Democrats, but white Democrats won't vote for black people. So therefore, black Democrats running in white districts are unlikely to win. So the only viable option is to protect the black folks who are running in black districts, because again, that's their best chance of actually getting elected. It's crazy how that works, right? When you really break it down for what it is, it really shows you this is the party of Jim Crow. Every accusation is an admission, okay? Every time they kick and scream and cry about, oh, we're going back to Jim Crow, that is them admitting what their agenda is, right? They want us to go back to Jim Crow. They want us to go back to segregation, just in a way that benefits Democrats, right? Because again, there is no principle outside of whatever is best for Democrat power control. That is it. But when you have this so-called multiracial coalition, clearly some people are going to put their racial allegiance over the interest of the party as a whole. And that's what's happening right now, right? She is putting her allegiance to black people over what's best for the party, right? That's what she's doing. This is DEI on steroids. That's what it is. It's DEI on steroids. That is backfiring on Democrats in the worst way possible. They don't give a damn about qualifications, about experience. All they care about is race, right? This is a DEI backfire. That's exactly what it is. They're calling this woman Jim Crow Debbie, right? That's her nickname. Her nickname is Jim Crow Debbie. That's what they're calling her. Yo! Wow. So, let's continue.
Jump in and let me push back a little. As you noted earlier, you represent a multiracial, multicultural district yourself. I'm sure that the whites and Hispanics in your district, think that you probably represent them well and are doing a good job, and you certainly are trying to do the best for them. Could you not see the argument that because of Debbie Wasserman Schultz's seniority, because of her standing in Congress, that she might be able to do things for Congressional District 20 that a freshman member of Congress, like either a Dale Holness or a Luther Campbell or any of the other candidates in there would be able to do?
The difference is when you go back to the history of why this seat was created during this redistricting time in 1992. It was to have people with black lived experiences in Congress. And we can't move away from that historical fact. It's kind of like, as a black person, you feel like we had Reconstruction. Then we got the Jim Crow, the poll tax. So now redistricting is being used to suppress our vote. So historically, for us, because of why the seat was created, it's like something is now being taken away from us. And we're just trying to explain and get Congresswoman Wasserman Schultz to understand how important it is to us in our community to have someone with our lived experience. Sure, she might be able to do things for our community, but she doesn't have the lived experience to fight on certain issues and explain why they're important to our community.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. This is crazy. You can't make this up. I want you guys to understand how much of a clown show this is. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, and I'm not defending anybody. I'm a neutral observer, right? Just giving you my commentary on this, right? I don't give a damn what happens, to be honest with you, okay? I hope they implode, and I hope a Republican wins. That's what I hope. But you have somebody who's currently facing charges for fraud in the race. You have a rapper, Luther Campbell, the rapper, Uncle Luke, that guy, right? He's also in the race. And you're telling this senior Democrat who actually had decades of experience in Congress that she should not run in this district because she's not black? But yet you're not telling the other black candidates in the race to drop out so that they don't dilute the black vote, right? I just want you guys to understand how ass backwards this is, okay? They're basically saying, hey, we don't give a damn if one of the leaders of our party gets completely kneecapped, right, by being forced to run in a district that she can't win. We don't care. We want a black representative. We don't even care if the representative is a criminal or just completely, totally unqualified. We don't give a damn. We just want a black representative. So if that means that a white Jewish Democrat leader has to lose her seat in order to allow a criminal, a black criminal, to get that seat, or a rapper who's completely unqualified to get that seat, it is what it is. Like, wow. It just blows my mind. Like, you can't make this up. This is one of the wildest stories I've covered in a while when it comes to this topic. But I love it, right? I absolutely love how much infighting this has caused. So, with that being said, Debbie Wasserman Schultz decided to run in this district, and these people are losing their minds.
Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz has officially entered the race for Florida's 20th congressional district. The district she currently represents has basically disappeared in Governor DeSantis' new congressional map. She launched her bid to succeed Sheila Sherfowitz McCormick, who resigned from Congress last month amid legal and ethics challenges.
I've fought for the people of Broward County my whole adult life. You've always been able to count on me to deliver results for our community. Today, I'm announcing my candidacy for re-election in Congressional District 20. Because we cannot let Trump destroy Broward County's power.
Sherfowitz McCormick has since launched her own campaign to reclaim the seat. Wasserman Schultz's decision has some African-American officials and organizations questioning her choice to run for a seat held by black lawmakers for the last 3 decades. CBS News Miami's Tanya Francois is your reporter in Fort Lauderdale at the African American Research Library, where she spoke with some of these leaders and groups.
We said, don't run, and we said it loudly because people don't listen to you unless you talk in those terms.
But Debbie Wasserman Schultz says she is running, and that's prompting backlash from much of Broward's black Democratic base, including from State Senator Chevron Jones, whose district includes a portion of Broward County. He says in a state with 24 million people, if Wasserman Schultz wins, it will be represented by just one black member of Congress from Florida.
What this is about is black representation. What this is about is making sure that the individuals who are being represented, they at least have the fighting chance to be represented by someone who has lived their lived experience.
Ashley Gant is a state rep, also a part of Florida's Black Caucus.
If this was always her plan, don't play in our face. Say it. Don't say you're thinking about it and all that. Just say it. Be who you are. Show us who you are.
Her opponents are also speaking out against her decision. The seat is currently vacant after Sheila Sherfowitz McCormick resigned during an ethics investigation. She blames her political woes on redistricting, saying her legal battles are not a concern.
You should run where you feel like you're most compatible. And the truth is, today I watched the video and a lot of my constituents sent it. And the one question they all said to me, what is her why? Why this district? Why us?
Elijah Manley is...
This woman's a criminal, bruh. She's a criminal. And these black people are saying, we'd rather have a black criminal represent us because she's black than a white Jewish Democrat leader, somebody who's been in Congress for decades. Wow. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. I love this story so much. For so many reasons. This is hilarious.
Also in the District 20 race.
You're not the candidate of choice for our community. And to ignore that and run anyways just shows you do not respect black voices. You do not respect the black community.
I'm very disappointed that we are here in District 20. I'm very troubled also about what is happening. because it's dividing our party. Alliances that we've built over time are shattering.
Wow.
It's unfortunate that we are in this place at this time.
Another candidate in the race, Rudy Moyes, he sent a statement saying Wasserman Schultz's decision to run in District 20 sends the wrong message to Dems all over Florida.
And for the rest of that statement, and for a statement from South Florida rapper Luther Campbell, who is also in the District 20 race, you can go to our